Hello, world. Good morning. This is the Founders and Innovators Morning Show. I'm your host, Joia, and today I'm so delighted to be here with Héctor, who is with us from Mexico, who has a startup that is really exciting to me because it's all about emotional intelligence and the idea of automating emotional intelligence and making it accessible to more people. So, Héctor, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here with us on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I guess I can share you some ideas and please ask me whatever you want. I mean, my experience might help you in something. So thank you for inviting me.
So I understand that CLIVO is not your first entrepreneurial venture. So tell us how you even started out as an entrepreneur and what got you into this crazy entrepreneurial world we're in.
Interesting. So I started doing some ventures. Some of them was formal startups. Another was just a traditional business. Another was just commercial stuff. I was selling earrings or something from door
Mhm.
to door. So I just started in high school because I knew I wanted to do something more productive than just my time in school or something. But then I learned how to focus on problems of the users instead of just selling stuffs or building something for my own benefit. And that's how I started with the startups field.
Mhm.
The idea of detecting a problem, getting in love, not only involved with the problem, and then get a full mission to do something to solve that problem. So that was in high school. Then I've been for formal entrepreneur for 4 years, and yeah, that's how it started.
No, that sounds wonderful. And I love how your story is that you started with this idea of falling in love with the problem, because I know for a lot of people breaking into the entrepreneur space, a lot of times that is the big hurdle, the big disjunct. A lot of people, I think, start where you were, where they want to get involved with selling, they want to start making money, but they don't recognize that the best way to do that is by doing exactly what you said, which is focusing on the problem and
Yep.
falling in love with solving the problem. So tell us a bit more about the startup you're working in now, CLIVO. What is the problem there that you're working to solve?
Cool. So the main problem in Clivo is the lack of productivity due to low emotional intelligence and auto motivations uh, for individuals or work teams. That's the problem we want to face. I mean, we know people can just follow tasks. They need to, I don't know, deliver some due dates or something, but how about how you feel to do that things? We say it's not only what you have to get done, but how you feel to get them done.
Mhm.
So our problem, I mean, our vision is to solve that part. How do you feel? What is your emotional intelligence based on the things that you have to do? That's a problem.
So, for me as a coach, emotional intelligence is something that I think about a lot. But for people in our audience who might not even be very familiar with this idea of emotional intelligence, can you just kind of explain really quickly, kind of give us emotional intelligence 101? What is that all about?
Interesting. So emotional intelligence is not a topic that I came up with my mind. There's
Mm-hmm.
a founder for that. It's Daniel
Mm-hmm.
Goleman. He's a psychologist in the US, and he talked about five more pillars for emotional intelligence. First is self-awareness, the thing that you need to develop for yourself to know how do you feel, because that's how everything works around you, right? Why do you react to some stimulation? How do you react? How are you gonna react? So getting that self-awareness gives you more tools to the next step, that is the auto control or the self-management. If you know how to how would you react for something, you know how you can manage yourself for positive or negative reactions, right? So
Mm-hmm.
the first one is auto self-awareness. The second one is self-management. The third one is empathy, and that's with the fourth one, that is social skills, because those are okay. You know about yourself, but also you know how to implement that in the social life, right? You're not
Mm-hmm.
here alone, and if you know how to detect those emotions in yourself, maybe you are up to detect the same emotions in the other people. But if you don't, you have to have the full empathy to ask them, to know how to ask them, to learn about that people. And the last one is, if you don't know anything about that, you have to be auto motivated, because there might be bad reactions, bad stimulations, bad situation in your life, but you have to keep going, right? So you have self-awareness, self-management, empathy, social skills. But if anything of that is going well, you have to be self-motivated as well. So those are the five pillars of emotional intelligence that we've learned from Daniel Goleman, and we've been working on that in our system.
So now tell us more about how you go about automating this process, because I mean, it almost sounds a little bit counterintuitive, right? Because we're kind of talking about almost essentially intrapersonal and interpersonal skills, and now we're talking about kind of adding this, AI intelligence, robotic intelligence to it. So how is it that you go about thinking about solving emotional intelligence problems with automation?
Okay. So as I told you, I started with the startup field, the problem, blah blah blah. But I also are in love with the technology companies.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to do something not as a consultant, or I didn't want to deliver that solution as coaching. I just wanted to do it more accessible for people. So I know technology gives you that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So what we built is a virtual assistant, and I can tell you how we got to a virtual assistant way. It's cool. It's a sad story, good story for how it's a virtual assistant. But yeah, so we built a virtual assistant first to give you that self-awareness. We have 4 profiles that CLIVO bot is the virtual assistant, is a chatbot way. I mean, you can chat with him in Slack or WhatsApp or Telegram or Messenger, different ways, because we know you don't have to download another application for use it. Maybe with your team, you have your own favorite channel of communication. I don't know. So it's a new user, right?
Mm-hmm.
First, it will help you getting that self-awareness of you and your team, as I told you, with 4 profiles. The first one is as a leader. The other one is as an operator, a seller, or communicator. We had those 4 profiles with different psychological theories about needs theories, about social skills, about self-awareness and emotional control. So we had those tests to make you understand your team and yourself better. So that's the self-awareness part of emotional intelligence, right? The second one is about auto motivation. And CLIVO understands how are you feeling in that situation because of the questions that is automated there. It asks you, how do you feel in a scale of 1 to 10? So let's say 4. Okay, in which category? And it gives you different, right? Let's say with my team, and how much available, I mean, how much time you have available. Okay, let's say 15 minutes. And it recommends you content, podcasts or articles or, I don't know, videos that is already in the cloud, in the internet. We curate it, and we recommend it in a recommendation system as machine learning way, right? So we are helping in the emotional intelligence part for self-awareness, self-motivation, and in the empathy and social skills is the third part. It asks you as a team, like in a stand-up. It's not a stand-up of comedy, but it's a work stand-up. You know, the age of
Mm-hmm.
technologies. Um, what have you been working on? What are you going to work on right now? And what are the barriers? So with that answers, you can know in the social way, how is your team doing? I mean, CLIVO will ask them that questions, and that will report it to you as a leader, and you can have that empathy for for you to know how to help them. You know the barriers, you know their profiles, you know what they're consuming, you know how to help them. So that's how we wanted to do it automated.
Oh, I love that idea. So I'm curious then what it's like to be like as a user of ClevoBot. Can you maybe tell us a story of, you know, people, users that you've had and people who've tried this out, and what kind of impact does it actually have on their productivity and their ability to actually be happy at work and do more work?
Cool. I can tell you right now the story to get to the final user. Is that
Okay.
okay? Well, first, this idea came up with me as an demotivated entrepreneur, right? Like 4 years
Mm-hmm.
ago, uh,
Mm-hmm.
I was different ventures, but my last venture, it was so challenging for the technology. So I wanted to build something. Me and my partner couldn't. We win some prizes, but we weren't in the market. So it was like, it's a success, but it's not a success for me. So we dropped out the startup, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I was so demotivated. I wanted to drop the towel. I wanted to just leave the venture, and then I was looking for something to learn to be better entrepreneur or something. And I was doing the how to start a startup course from YC and Stanford, and it's for free. And I was getting that lectures, and I heard about Dustin Moskovitz, you know, the founder of Asana. He was talking
Mm-hmm.
about founder's depression, and I said, "What is the founder's depression?" I was hearing him, and he was like, "Okay, I'm feeling that," and it was so funny because I was hearing that story, and that story was told 3 years ago that I was hearing it. So I
Mm-hmm.
said, I want to solve that in me. What is my role? I'm a startup founder. Okay, so I want to help me and help the founders with the founders depression, and I started there. We wanted to deliver something for the founders because they are
Mm-hmm.
building something transcendental or something for the people, but nobody is helping them to don't drop the towel. So that was the point, right? To start with the founders. Then I was
Mm-hmm.
talking to other founders, and they told me that helps me with my team. And I said, yeah, with your startup team. And they said, no, it's not for my startup team. I have another kind of tip, you know, the multi-level marketeers, the network marketeer that is so popular, and that helping people feeling productive and become more economically productive. So we knew that that role will be benefit more from our solution. Our business model will be fitable for them because they want to motivate their teams. They want to know how to motivate them. They want to know what they're consuming, how to help them. So Salesforce, individually or corporative or sales in startups or something, they are our target users because we know they do that process and we automate that process. But then we learned that other companies in their administrative roles or developer roles or something, they already want that solution. But right now we're focusing on the Salesforce because we know they need more resilience, so to speak, and
Mm-hmm.
emotional intelligence because they're in the impact with the customer constantly. I mean, I prospect 10 prospects, and then I have only 3 days and I only close with one and I feel bad for myself. So that's our target. The user is the Salesforce, their teams, but we know another roles or teams can use it as well. I don't know if I answered.
No, no, that's perfect, and it gives us a sense of where you're at now, targeting, as you're saying, Salesforce sales teams as your users. But we're almost out of time. But tell us a little bit more about where you see the future of CLIVO. Where do you want to take this startup?
Cool. That's a bold question. I want to say that me and my team were so passionate about emotional intelligence wherever it takes us. I mean, we've developed a bot based on emotional intelligence for people with autism. A company asked us for that. So with that in mind, with our vision in Salesforce, our future is to have that tool based on emotional intelligence for any other lines we can implement it to. Right now we're focusing on productivity, but next step, perhaps we can help with mental health, depression, anxiety, addictions, or family resolutions or something. So our vision is to create that tool for people to become more emotional intelligence and perform whatever they want and achieve.
So tell everybody, if they're interested to find out more about CLIVO, how can they find out more? And is it open? Can anybody start interacting with the CLIVO bot?
We are right now developing a bot in a Spanish language. So it's
Mm-hmm.
more for Hispanic people. You know, we're from Mexico and Latin America focused, but if you want something for your company or your environment or your community, you can just ping us a email. I mean, you can write me directly to hector@clivobot.com. I don't know if we can just send it,
Mhm.
but you can write me down and we can think something for the English speakers. But right now, for Spanish speakers, you can go to our Facebook page. It's CLIVOBot, I mean, at CLIVOBot, and in our website, clivobot.com. And I don't know if there's some Mexican entrepreneurs or businessmen out there. I want to give that call to action that right now there's the norm 035, the regulation for mental health people here in Mexico for the employees, and we're all helping that. So if you want some help with that, we can help you.
Awesome. I mean, and I know we definitely have a global audience of entrepreneurs here, so I'm sure there's a lot of Spanish speakers
Yeah,
as well as English speakers.
yeah.
So, yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here. It's been great learning so much about CLIVO, and as someone who also is passionate about emotional intelligence and knows that the more we get these ideas and these skills out to people, that it will help make the world a better place. I know I'm really excited to see where your company is going to go. So thank you so much, Hector.
Thank you for inviting me. And whatever we can help, here in Mexico, any part of the world, we're here.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Bye,
Bye.
everybody. Hope you're all off to a really great day.
Thanks for joining us today. Please don't forget to subscribe, review, and share this show. If you'd like exclusive content and behind-the-scenes insight, for just $4 a month, you can support us at buymeacoffee.com. Now, go make it a great day. Ask me why.